What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. Let's talk about it. This is Queen Sugar Season 3 episode. Who knows? It'll be right in the description. Good episode. Let's go ahead and get started. It's Vi's birthday, and Hollywood brings her a gift. It's a nice little box. She says that she wants to have dinner at her grandmama's whatever restaurant, diner, whatever she said, child, because it's been that way for 60 years, and you know she's happy about it. She's making 60, by the way. In the box that Hollywood gives her, there's nothing in the box. He tells her that she's a woman who knows what she wants, and so she gonna tell him what she wants for her birthday, and he gonna fill that box up with it. So once again, Hollywood being like an excellent man, like I don't understand. Vi was getting on my nerves on this episode. Okay, she also shows him the contract that the white people gave her from the last episode, and just like we thought, they got 60% of the business. She only got 40% of the business. So she says she's gonna pitch them her own pie stores. She don't want to be in no kitchen working like no mammy pumping out pies for the rest of her life, which is smart, okay? Which really I wouldn't be signing no contract with them at all, because how you gonna tell me you trying to help my business, but you got 60% of my business? Absolutely not, okay? Make sure you handle that, Vi. In the midst of the conversation, he said something like her name gonna be Violet Designaire or whatever his last name is. And you could already tell she looking like, I don't want to do that. I'm like, oh Lord, she don't want to get married. Here we go with all of this. Vi! Charlie's having breakfast and Jacob Landry comes up. He tells her that he want to apologize about the other night, though he had a good time. But he want to apologize, and he asked her out on a proper date. You know, can he take her out? They can go somewhere, where nobody don't know them, so don't have to worry about people looking at them. And she says that they just need to keep it business for now. Maybe in the future they can explore something. She like him or whatever, but they just need to keep it cute for right now. And so he seemed like he was still on the hook a little bit. And he told her, okay, basically he got up to leave, and he told her, I hope I see you for business or otherwise. And he going about his business. I'm going to tell you what I think was going to happen with that later. Ralph Angel meets with Benny, and Benny apologizes for what he did. He made an explanation, but I couldn't hear them talking. They be talking so quietly, child. It's hard for me to hear what he was saying. But Ralph Angel gives him another chance because, he was hoping that he wouldn't lose his job because of what he did. So Ralph Angel let him know, listen, when it comes to my son, I don't play. But somebody gave me a chance, so I'm going to give you a second chance. And, Benny still got a job. That's good. Darla calls, and Ralph Angel says that, it's good that Blue not talking about leaving no more. So he just had a little fit last week. He actually not leaving. But, Darla's all excited because she says she painted his room. She bought some tickets to an exhibit they were going to, and he tells her accidentally was a mistake that she forgot that Vi's birthday is this weekend, and they having a surprise party for Vi. So he apologized and said it was the last minute. But, she looks very disappointed, which I would be too if you had been planning for your son to come all week long. Then at the last minute, somebody changed your plans and don't even care, kind of just throw you to the wayside or whatever. So she feels some kind of way about that, which will manifest itself later on in the episode. Nova is questioning Prosper, I'm sure for her book, talking about did he always know he was going to be a farmer. And he says no, he wants to see the world, so, and play music. So he joined the army. But every time hard times struck, he thought about home, being at home, taking care of the land. So when he got home, he saved up all the money he could from what he made in the service, and he leased all the land he could. And she said, well, you ever thought about buying it? He said, yeah, he tried to buy it a few times, but white folks ain't giving up no land. But he did say it was a problem in his family when he leased the land, so that was cool. She says, okay, well, that's how you and my dad got brought together. And he says, well, your dad called me one night, and we walked the fields, and we talked for hours. And, we talked about, him losing True, him, having to farm the land, because he was saying, if you have a couple of bad seasons, it could really break you. And all the different things that was happening in his life. He basically tells her that her dad was going to commit suicide. He was walking around with a gun because he didn't know if it was worth it. And she was like, what you mean, the land? He was like, no, like everything. Like he was going to kill himself that night. And that's one of the things that brought them closer or made them, become closer or whatever over time or whatever. He was there for him during that time. And he said, there's so many things you don't say, you don't see. So many things that you don't see. So many things you don't say. Talking about black men and, the fact that we don't really teach them how to deal with their emotions and issues. Some things they just hold on the inside. Then you have an explosion, either a violent explosion or you have somebody, an inward explosion where you're killing yourself. Are you depressed? It's even hard for us to recognize depression, what depression is, especially in black males. Normal, typical behavior that you would call depression in other people. If we see that behavior in black males, a lot of times we dismiss it. So that was really interesting, talking about the mental state of people when they're going through a lot of things and how people all over had to deal with much harsher circumstances than we have to deal with right now growing up. Not to say it's better or worse, but it just takes a toll on a person, to have to deal with that, to have to take care of children, and all those things that come with that. Plus, on top of that, you being oppressed, you know what I'm saying, in your community and everything like that. So that was a really touching scene between those two. Hollywood's mother just shows up to everyone's surprise, and she says she's not there to make trouble. She even bought a gift for Vi. She bought her a nice apron for her new pie business, and she says she's there to help everybody celebrate. And she ain't staying in no hotel. She didn't tell them that, but they put her in the guest room. They Hollywood wasn't gonna put his mom in the hotel. Violet and Hollywood come home from an outing, lunch or whatever, and probably lunch at the diner place where she go for her birthday, and they come in the house, and guess what? Everybody's there. It's a surprise party. Surprise! So Violet, she get on board with the party. And, the party is being had. Everybody there. Micah, Kiki, the whole crew, everybody. Okay, everybody there. Nova and Remy are there too. We're going to talk about that in a minute, honey. The guys are inside playing dominoes, and Ralph Angel's with them. And guess who shows up? Trin, his new boo. So new boo shows up. He introduced her to everybody. She brings a gift. She get along with everybody pretty well. Vi meets her. She talked to her for a minute. They meet each other. Yeah, it's all good. So Hollywood says it's time to get the party started. So he gives Remy, to gather up the troops. It's time to go start dancing. So him and Vi out there dancing, doing their thing. And Remy goes to find Nova, who was sitting off to the side, still processing this whole "my daddy was about to kill himself" story she just heard from Prosper. So she said she really not in the mood, to go dancing. And then he grabbed her, put his hand on her shoulder like, "Girl, come on, you gonna see my moves," and woo the woo. And she wanted to go with him, but she kind of turned away, and he just left. He was like, "All right." I see what Ava trying to say, life is complicated, it's messy, it don't always work out like you want it to work out, but it don't work out like this. I'm sorry. I don't see it. I'm not for it. I'm not about it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. We're going to all have to accept that it is going to happen. But I don't want to see this shit. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't want to see it. Back at the dance floor, and, everybody having a good time. Blue is in the kitchen. Ralph Angel comes in the kitchen, and Trin, follows him. Vi comes to tell them that they need some more ice. They need to go to the store. So they all go together. Blue meets Trin, and he a little apprehensive at first, but she's a nice girl. So, once you chat him up, he seemed to be just fine. So that's gonna be a problem. Hollywood and his mother have a good talk, and she's asking him the questions that he needs to be asked, in my opinion. I agree with Mama. I ain't gonna lie, I was right here. Me and Mama was here. She asked him, where does he fit into all of this? She says that, I see you doing so much for her and taking care of her so much that, you need to take care of you. What do you want? What's your hopes and your dreams? I gave up a lot of that stuff to be with your father. And he said, well, I never really saw the greatest model of a relationship from you and my dad or whatever. And she was like, your daddy worked hard, X, Y, and Z. She was like, and I see what a great man you have become. Basically said, you're not like him. You're more emotional than him. You're a good man, but sometimes you're so good that you lose yourself in the midst of everything. He said, this woman got her own house. She got her own business. She don't need a man for nothing but to tell him what to do, okay? That was like shade, but, she had a point. So it sat back to make him think about what do he want. And I feel like Hollywood should think about what he wants. He makes a lot of concessions for Vi. Vi is very set in her ways. And it takes something bad to happen for her to even see that she don't need to be set in her ways. So it's a lot of work to be with somebody who constantly demanding stuff of you, or, telling you what you can't have, and you just giving your all to them. So he do need to think about where he fits into her life, and, what does he want? Does he want to do these things that she wants to do? Is he really okay with stuff he say he okay with? So on that end, I was cool with Mama having that talk with him. I mean, that's her son, and she want the best for him. So And she didn't come up in there being salty, talking about no type of way. So you know what I'm saying? I was here for mama. So Ralph, Angel Blue, and Trent are at the gas station. They get the ice, and guess who pumping gas? Darla. So Darla looking at him, looking all sad, you know, and watching them get in the car or whatever. Basically him replacing her with another light-skinned person, okay? With another person of color. He replaced you, Darla, just like that. I feel like nobody who just went on one date with somebody should be introducing them to their kids. Like, I'm just, in general, that's just how I feel about life. If you have kids, you should not be introducing them to your work boo one after one date. That's just my personal opinion. But as far as Darla is concerned, I feel like these feelings are normal. They're both gonna have jealous feelings. When Darla gets somebody, he gonna be mad too. So I feel like these are normal feelings. I feel like, you know, they just need to move on from each other. And I feel like he needs to communicate with her. As much as I don't like Darla, she is that boy mama, and he needs to communicate with her. Micah and Kiki are in the room. They kissy facing. They get caught by Vi. You know, she say leave the door open. Micah's phone rings, and it's the group, and they're talking about going to hang out at the levee later on. And he says, you know, you hang out with them a lot. Basically, they have a conversation about it. He says, why you don't hang out with them? I thought they were your friends. She said, well, you know, we were friends, but they do things differently than I do. We can already see that this relationship ain't gonna last too much longer, because she ain't about that. I'm about to get suspended, mess up my college prospects, okay, to be out here fighting no justice. And he is, okay, because he's privileged. He have money. He has something to fall back on. You know, she don't necessarily have that, so I can understand that. And that's gonna be a rift in a relationship. But he says, you know, he thinks that they all should hang out or whatnot. He wanted to leave the party, but she was like, no, I think we should actually stay. Okay, like, this is your aunt's party, your family's party. We're not gonna leave your family's party to go do some bullshit. Okay, so they ain't gonna make it. I can tell you right now. Micah is changing. He already funny time with her anyway, be funny style. You know, blowing her off or whatever. So eventually they gonna break up. Or they're might break up, and then he might change. I don't know. You know, who knows? But I doubt it. I feel like he's on this trajectory. This is the way he's going. Meanwhile, Nova's in the kitchen washing dishes, and Remy comes into the kitchen, and they don't say anything to each other. They just walk in there, and he's looking at her, and she looking at him, and he turn around, you know, next to her at the sink, and she turn around, and they just hold hands. The reason why you ain't saying nothing and she ain't saying nothing, because both of y'all know y'all ass is wrong. I am absolutely, you will not. You will not. And did y'all see on the preview when Charlie I said, oh my God, she asking questions about who is this mystery man child. When she find out it's Remy, it's gonna be a hot ass mess, honey. I was like, y'all really gonna sneak around like 14, 15-year-olds. Nova Draws is on fire. Them hoes so hot, okay? I cannot. And even if you do get together, it's gonna be so much stress in the relationship, it ain't gonna work. I cannot. I will not do this with y'all. I won't. At the same party, Charlie is outside, you know, staring off into space, and Prosper comes over to her, and he says something about, you know, he know it don't feel good to being lied to. He think it's about Davis, basically. She's standing over there looking crazy about Davis. And he tells her that, you know, when his wife died, he didn't know what he was going to do. He never wanted to remarry after his wife passed away. But then he says, you know, she was my second wife. She wasn't my first wife. And she was like, oh, shit. Like, oh, okay, so you trying to... He was like, your love story don't have to end. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you, boo? Do you, boo? And early in the episode, she had pulled out Romero. She pulled out his phone, right? His phone number, excuse me, in the restaurant. So, you know, she made use of that phone number a little later on. We're going to discuss. So, Vi and Hollywood give their little thank yous. They do a little speech. And once again, Hollywood sprinkles in the whole, you know, she gonna be Violet, there's her name. You know, Vi was like, This time she was definitely with a hell no look on her face. I was like, you know, we got an issue. We got a problem. That's not going. After the party is over, Vi is in the room, and Hollywood comes to lay down, and she's basically telling him that, you know, he like, what's up? What I do wrong? You know, what's the problem? And she's like, listen, you know, I don't want to hurt you. But she tells him that she don't want to take his last name. Her name is Violet Bordelon, and it's going to stay Violet Bordelon. At this moment, Hollywood gets mad, rightfully so. I feel he said, you know, you don't want me in your business. You don't want me to do this. You don't want me to do that. And you know, I feel like my name is the only thing that I have to give you. And now you telling me you don't want that too. He was like, you just hell bent on telling me how much you don't need me. And I was like, oh shit. And she was just like, you know, I'm sorry, but you know, it's just, I didn't know it was that important to you or whatever. So he is highly pissed. And he was like, I didn't know it was that important to me either until just now. I was like, uh-oh, girl, you finna lose your man. I don't know, why would you, listen, y'all, you already, it's me and Romero, and they are not at the high yellow like I thought they was gonna be, but they still eating pie or whatever. So they at the restaurant talking, and he just giving her the rundown, you know, about his family in Mexico and how he want to bring them over here, but it's kind of dangerous for him to be going to Mexico at this time or whatever. So he stay busy so he can keep his mind off of things. And he asked her if she can cook, if her aunt taught her how to cook, and she was like, nah, I don't cook, you know, that ain't my thing. And he was like, well, good for you, my abuelita. Okay, my abuela taught me how to cook. I said, wait a minute, what you, let me find out you making enchiladas. Let me find out you making quesadillas and shit. Okay, I'm gonna come to the house and give me some arroz con pollo. She was like, all right, I see you. But see, like I said earlier, this is what I think is gonna happen. I think that Charlie and Romero gonna like each other, and then she gonna run into Jacob somewhere, and Jacob gonna feel some type of way because you told me, you know, we would just need to keep it business, and you out here on dates and whatnot. Yeah, I think Jacob Landry gonna have a problem. He gonna have a definite issue with that. I think they cute. I think Romero is fine. I trust him now. I think he all right. Hollywood talks to his mom about Violin not want to take his name. He basically just tell her straight up, and she was like, boy, I said I wanted you to be happy, but I ain't got nothing to do with no 60-year-old woman taking your name. And she explains to him that, you know, women like her during that time period, they had to survive. They had to fight outside their house. They had to fight inside their house. And, you know, she worked hard to get what she has. You know, all that stuff come with blood, sweat, and tears. And, you know, you need to be more concerned about if she's giving you her heart versus taking your last name. And so he puts that into perspective, and he goes to Vi and he apologizes to her. She said, well, you know, I'm sorry, but I still don't want to take your name. And he was just like, you know, I don't want you to. You know, I want your heart. You know, I want us to be together. I mean, it was, oh Lord. Vi says she's blessed to have a man that wants to be hers just as much as he wants her to be his, which I thought was a beautiful statement. It seems like she knows and she understands, you know, that Hollywood loves her and that he's a good man, and that she is a lucky woman. And I don't mean blessed, I mean lucky, okay? Because I feel like I'm blessed, and I haven't had that man who wants to be there, who wants to give you the world, who, like, child, I can't find one. Okay, I can't find one. I can't find one. I'm working on it, but y'all help me out, okay? I can't find one. So she tells him that, you know, even though she's not taking his name, she said, you know what, let's do it. Let's have the biggest wedding this town ever seen. Let's show us how it's done. Spend that money. So I was like, there you go, girl. Give your man a little something what he want. He gonna give you what he want. I mean, he gonna give you what you want, and y'all gonna be straight. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta go through all of this drama. Just, you know, you gotta learn how to compromise and give a little bit, okay? You always demanding. So she turned out all right at the end of the episode. So, you know, all right, Vi. All right. Comes to pick up Blue for the breakfast they going to, and Ralph Angel apologizes again about the last minute change of plans, and she tells him that they need a schedule. They need something that's set because she spent all week, you know, getting ready for him, buying him tickets, and for you to call and change at the last minute, she thought that was rude. Now, she do have a point. They do need to have a schedule, but she low-key was jealous because right after that, the next question was, who was she? She's a work friend. Oh, okay, well, you know, we just need to have a schedule, you know, and that's true. They do need to have a schedule, but I feel like she's going to get mad, and it's going to get increasingly difficult for him and her to work through whatever issues they have. I do feel like Darla don't need to be worried about Ralph Angel. She need to go and find her man or go about her business. Whew, Lord, this is what a rough part. Vicky comes to Charlie and tells her, you know, she needs to sit down because she got some information for her. Next thing we see, Charlie is talking with Nova, with Ralph Angel, and with Vi. And basically what's going on is that the Landrys are trying to build a private prison on the land. They're trying, so, and all the land that they have surrounds the borderline property. And so they're going to try to get their father's land. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know what's the plan for them to get it, but they're getting everything surveyed and all that stuff because they plan on building a private prison and cashing out. So think about that. Building a private prison on land where your father worked, you know, where black people worked, black people slaved, okay? Because that land, you know, their family was supposedly slaves who worked that land and was given that land. So that would be absolutely the most horrible, ironic thing to happen, is that you would have a prison there. So if we know anything about Ava DuVernay, she's really into mass incarceration. That's like one of her main things. If you haven't seen 13th, it's on Netflix. You need to go watch it right now, okay? Come back to this video later, honey, because that's information you will need to know, okay? That's information you need to know. So it's interesting how this all has come together. It's going to be so interesting to see how they get out of this, because it's already in the process of happening. Now, they bought the mill, but the good thing about it is that the property is for Ralph Angel. It's not for Charlie. It's not for Nova. So even though they have the mill, they don't have the land. So they still have a little wiggle room. So I want to hear what you guys think is going to happen. Like, what do you think is going to happen next? I'm so excited about this season because it's really like a whole new world. We don't know what's going to happen. How is Charlie going to get around this? So, like I said, I want to hear your thoughts. Leave them in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Share my video with all your friends. And if you want to follow me on social media, you can. My name is @WhoIsAprilDawn. @WhoIsAprilDawn. And you can follow me most active on Instagram. That's my favorite one to go to. So, and I do have April Dawn TV plug on Facebook. I don't update it that much. I'm not going to lie to y'all. But if you want it, go ahead and like that page. You can go ahead and view and like that page. So for those of y'all who didn't know, I was in A Misbehaving last week. That's why I was gone last week. It was the show week, and so I was getting ready for that. I'm actually still an understudy for a show at the ensemble that's up right now. And yay, April, I just booked the Christmas play. It's called Christmas is Coming Uptown. It's kind of like the Christmas Carol. It's going to be at the Ensemble Theater in Houston, Texas. It's going to run the whole month of December, from November all the way to Christmas, okay? So, you know, come check me out if you're in the area, or if you know somebody, tell them to come check me out, okay? Because I'm fabulous. I'm great. I'm awesome. Okay, so I'll put a few more pictures at the end of this video, because we got more pictures from the performance, so you can check out my costume and all that good stuff. And I'll holler at y'all next time. Peace.